usually, we take like 3 weeks off, normally.
Right.
And
Right.
it depends if you throw in the donations in there.
Yeah.
So it's just, you try to get like 3 weeks. That's about it. And you got to start riding a little bit of soupy for Monster Cup.
That's right.
Yeah.
So technically you actually have more time now, but does it feel weird to just park a motorcycle? Like, if you were to say take 3 weeks off right now, that would probably be just too weird, I would think, right?
It's super weird. I mean, we're so like just in the groove of going weekend to weekend.
Yes.
And then like not having that, like not having that really something, that goal to chase is really weird as an athlete. So right now it's just like, hey, you just got to stay healthy and that's about it. Stay in shape, not burn yourself out. But it's just strange. It's really strange.
I feel exceptionally bad for you. And again, this is a small thing. This is only racing. We know that's like this much of what's going on in the world right now. But dude, you basically have worked your whole life, and especially the last 5 seasons, to finally get in the position that you're in. You're managing the Supercross series. You've stayed in it. You're in the points lead. That had to hit you even more. Like a ton of, hey, this happened in 2018. It sucks for you, but now you're in the points lead. It has to hurt even more.
It's terrible. All I hope is we can finish the thing. Like,
right.
It would be horrible if the thing just ended and that was it and over, right? For everyone's sake. So hopefully we get those last couple of rounds, and whether it's 2 rounds or 1 round or all 7. So as long as I just hope we get a legitimate finish, to the season, and whether we win or lose, at least have a real finish, and not have this unknown.
Yeah, because I've talked to a bunch of people, and they say there isn't like a minimum number of races. Like, if it ends up being 10, like let's say for some crazy reason we can't do any racing all the way till December 31st.
Yeah.
There isn't a minimum, but it doesn't sound like you're at all like, okay, sweet, that I'm declared champ. Like, it doesn't seem like you're thinking of it that way.
No. I mean, hey, I'm in the position to take it that way if I have to.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to really know and just not find out 3 months down the road that, oh, you're the champ. That'll be pretty.
Yeah.
It'll just be kind of a buzzkill,
Yeah, you don't want like a nightly news press conference saying all events in the world canceled for the rest of the year and be like, well, I guess that means I'm champ. Like, that's not kind of the way to find out.
No, it's just, and everyone would remember it that way. It's not good that way, but you can only do what you can do.
Still, though, it did seem like you've been pretty proud this season that you have stayed in it. You've obviously won a ton of races the last couple of years, but this year you managed, heck, we even thought, you had a race where you went down, and we're like, oh, this is going to be a bad night, still got 4th. So you got to be pretty proud of how you stayed in it this year to at least get to the point that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, what do we have, 5 out of 10 race wins?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were rolling. That was the bummer part, right, is when you stall momentum. So it's going to be tough that way, If things do get back to normal in the summer, and then we got to transition into Supercross, that's going to be a little bit just different, right, for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we'll have to throw in some Supercross days in there. Like, if we really go race in September, Supercross, that's going to be a game changer for sure. And then be ready to go, right? Like, there's going to be no warming up. Like, you can kind of warm up in Anaheim, and whatever round 2 is, you kind of get your flow going, but. Yeah, this isn't the case. We'll be going straight into like make or break time.
Yeah, with a 3-point lead, you can't just take a 5th at round 1 with the first round back.
No.
Is there something you've done different this year, or did it just work out? Is there some reason you can point to, like, hey, I figured something out, and that's why the points and the championship are looking better this year? Maturity, or is it just this could happen any year and it just finally worked out?
It's a little bit all of the above. It's maturity, just not having the bad finishes.
Yeah.
And it's really wild when you look back at previous years and the points lead at Daytona for most guys. And that's not the case this year. With Kenny so close there, it's just. All I can do is just try to stay consistent, and that's what I've done this year. Is just been consistent. I can't really point to what it is. I think it's just really experience. I feel maybe a little more kind of just like mentally sound. Just during the race and even on the start line.
Yeah. Let's say I think was that Atlanta where you had to make that comeback because you were down early. Is that Atlanta? Is that what it was? Or was that Tampa? No, Tampa you won.
Atlanta was the scrap with Barsha. Yep, and then crashed. and then stalled and came back. Yeah, that one could have been bad.
Right. So is that something where that played out differently, like even your mindset while this was going on and while you're in like 13th and the bike is stalled? Was there something like this year you were able to handle that a little bit, staying cool when it was going badly in that race that helped this year?
After the stall, I was panicking, so that was nothing really changed in my head. I was still panicking. And I just happened to make it up to 4th or whatever it was. So it's so hard to point to what it is.
Yeah, you'll just take it. How about that?
Yeah, I'll just take it.
Yeah. A couple questions from fans I want to go with here. Like, it's weird. We watch from the sidelines when you put on these crazy charges like Daytona and the Nationals. There's been a ton, like Washougal the last couple of years. It looks like you go into this crazy, I call it beast mode zone. Do you feel that way? Or are you just riding? Because it seems like you're riding, like, out of your mind. Are you? Or are you just riding?
What I really think is happening is I'm maintaining, like, the early pace late into the moto.
Okay.
And sometimes maybe in the middle of the race, there's kind of like a calm in the storm, right? And either guys are blowing up or they're going over the top, and I'm almost settling in, and then I make another push, I think is what's happening. So, and then I can maintain those early lap times that are in the race towards the end of the race. That's when I can catch those guys.
Okay, if we go to Daytona, did you think that one was too far gone? I mean, Kenny was long gone, and you had to get a lot of other fast guys to get there. Or have you done this enough where you have a general idea of 6 seconds, I can manage that? Or was Daytona like, this is going to be tough?
Daytona, I thought he was gone, especially when you looked up early.
Yep.
You know, second I knew was within reach, but then once I got to second, you know, I'm like, you know, let's just see what we can do here. But there was only so many laps left, and then one of those laps I pulled like 2.5 seconds out of him. So then I knew I was back in the game. So I think Daytona is probably one of the only places I could have done that, right? And it just happened to happen there. But if it was a normal stadium, if you want to call it, I don't think I would have pulled that gap in. No way.
But you're not in those last 5 minutes, say, riding at like some crazy pace that you never hit at any other time. You just feel like you're riding like you ride. It's just you're doing it late in the race, maybe while other people are dropping off.
I think that's the case. I mean, I'm wanting to get to the front, but I think I'm maintaining early pace towards the end of the race. Is what's happening.
Okay. There's no numbers to prove any of this. It's just theories, right? We're just guessing.
It's guessing.
Okay, so you are riding a little bit. You are training a little bit. Are there any other things that you're getting to do now because you have time? Like even on Saturday and Sunday, how does that work?
It's just at home. I mean, you get to do a little bit of things around the house, right?
Okay.
Yeah, like just things around the house. You know, and then just hang out with friends that we don't get to hang out, you know, a whole lot in our town with. So, that's about it, really. It's just I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. It's just scary. I hope this passes over within a month or two and we can get back to normal. But it's weird.
What is the normal stuff around the house that you do? What do you do? Do you have the same old honeydew chores that everybody else has, or how does that work?
I mean, I don't know, just like cleaning up stuff in the yard, like spring clean, like that stuff. I don't ever get to be able to get done. So, like that thing, you know, going outside, like trimming some branches, like doing the normal stuff. I think that's probably on most people's list these days. But yeah, it's. So that's most of the things we don't get to do as racers, you know?
Yeah, you don't have a gardener staff. You're not making that kind of money where you just have servants that you send out there. Like, there are chores to do.
Yeah, and I don't like to go out and do something. Like, I can't sit around. Most of the time, I'm too much of a spaz, so I like to be outside.
Well, yeah, that's got to be the hardest thing, because if we get to a normal season and the series ends in September, to take 4 weeks off of riding or 3 weeks off of riding, I'm sure you're like, man, I raced for 9 months. I can handle 3 weeks off. I've earned 3 weeks off. It's got to be so much harder to do it after just 10 races. 10 races is nothing. You're probably just getting into form. I'm sure you're not feeling burnt out or tired after 10 races. It's got to be so much harder to stop now than it would be after 9 months like normal.
It's just, I mean, the stop is hard, but not knowing. Well, I mean, I guess we do know when we're going to get going, but that unknown is what's freaking me out. You know, like what happens if they go and say, "Hey, we need to quarantine for another 2 months"? Like that's the part that really sucks.
Yes.
So that's what I'm more afraid of is looking ahead that way. You know, it's just like, you know, how prepared do you get? Because you want to have a ramp up, you know, into the season.
Yes.
Physically, and not knowing that is a little bit. That's just, but everyone's in the same ballpark.
When you were hearing about all this schedule stuff, look, I'm sure it's not ideal to have a 3-point lead and then have to race all of motocross and then come back and race supercross. Were you hoping, oh man, maybe we can get these in May or late April? Was that the hope, I guess, at first?
I would think so.
Yeah.
You know, you're more in tune with the supercross.
Yeah.
That's what, like, it takes a little while to get in tune with the track. Like, and even when you go back to motocross, like, you work different muscles. You know, you feel different. You know, the speeds are different. You know, supercross is a lot higher heart rate. And then motocross, I feel like your muscles get more worn out. So, you know, now we don't have that, you know, that transition is going to be a lot different.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, if we do go racing in September in Supercross, and we get all the motocross races and they plan, let's say you actually win both. I mean, it'll be the gnarliest gauntlet anyone has ever run. It'll be practically like an 11-month season. Here's your silver lining. If you can pull all this off, my gosh, it'd be like the greatest accomplishment you could have. So there's a little silver lining for you if you can pull this all off. That's a lot of work.
I know. And then we roll right back into January, right?
Yeah, good point.
With that being said, though, I would much rather do that than have any of this going on. So if we have to keep going, then let's just keep rolling.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Like you said, you're in the points lead, but you'd rather race it out and win it the hard way than have it handed to you. Now, by the way, I don't know if you've announced this publicly. Are you expanding the family a little bit? Everybody kind of knows. I don't know if you're going out there and saying it, but is there another Tomac in the works at some point here?
Yeah, the first week of May, myself and Jessica are expecting. So, yeah, that's the one positive out of all this scenario is I get to be at home and be a dad.
Yeah, because that would have been first week of May. Are you serious? That could have been the gnarliest timing ever.
Seriously, like it was Salt Lake was May 3rd and the due date's May 5th. So, I was already sweating bullets about it. But now that's one thing. You know, we get to be home. We get to be home. So hopefully our hospitals aren't overwhelmed, and
right.
That's, you know, we're kind of freaking out about that. But it's one positive about all of this.
Yeah, there's some perspective for you. It's like even if the coronavirus itself doesn't hit home, it's like anything. And I've heard people say they don't want to go riding for the same reason. Like, what if you get hurt? What if you got to go to the hospital? It's like it starts affecting all kinds of stuff that it doesn't even impact. So yeah, having a baby, that would be super stressful in this time. Maybe by May we're in better shape. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully by the time we go racing, baby situation will be rectified. But are you a little worried that that's still going to be... Getting to the due date is just a start.
I know.
Yeah.
I hear there's a lot of sleepless nights after it's here.
Right, exactly. So let's throw that into this gauntlet that you got to run. Man, were you thinking about plans beyond the due date of like, I got to sleep in a separate room? How's the family going to travel to the races? Like, how do you manage all that? Are these things that you would plan? Because I've got to imagine, look, a normal dad, you got to do what you got to do. An athlete dad, maybe you earn a little extra sleep time. Have you guys been planning how you're going to manage all this?
That's what I've been proposing to Jess is like, you know, hey, let's, you know, hopefully I can get my sleep and, you know, I'll try to do the work in the afternoons for you.
That's right. Yeah, I think your job's a little different than others. I think that's okay. We'll see. Okay, a couple other random questions from fans, and then we'll let you go here at the top of the hour. So some people are wondering when you go to the gate. I got a question from fans, like, what is your general mindset? Are you a guy that's trying to relax yourself as much as possible? Or are you trying to go to the line, like, angry and fired up? What's your strategy when you go to the line right before a race?
You know, that has changed for me. I would say in the 250 days, I was way more spun up on the line. Like with a mix of nerves and anxiety and just more high tension. I feel like, well, even into the first couple of years of 450s that way too. And I would say like this year even I've changed that way. I feel like a lot more just level-headed on the start line. So I think it's maybe because I've just had so many starts now and I've raced with these guys so long that changes in your mind. I still am wanting to go out there and get it done, right, and get the wins. But I feel like the stress and the anxiety of not knowing what to expect has calmed down.
Yeah, I remember you kind of feeding off that. Like in 250 days, didn't you? I remember you saying like, I drank a cup of coffee, I got on the spin bike. Like between practice and the night show and Supercross, it was like you wanted to get yourself fired up. It sounded like back then.
Yeah. I mean, I still do all that, but there's still like the mental part of the racing in your head, right?
Yeah.
Of just really just being more relaxed while you're on the line.
Okay, one other thing, the guy you're battling right now, at least for the Supercross title, is Ken Roxon. You guys have battled. It is crazy. Like, you guys battled. He even showed up for a few amateur races here, I think. It kind of goes back more than people would think for a guy that wasn't even from the United States. It's kind of wild how long this has gone on, and here we are again.
Oh, I know. Like, we look back, and I remember Kenny at Mini O's, like, when we were in 12 to 13, 85, and Super Minis. Yep. So, you're racing the guys, all the way back to amateurs. So it's when you look back, it's really cool when you look back and you're like, you see you're racing the same guys.
But it seems like somehow you haven't really had, maybe once or twice, but I don't remember any specific issues, or even now. I talked to him last week and he said, no, there's no bad blood. We just race.
That's the way it is. Like, I think we both have similar mindsets on the motorcycle. Like, we're really in control. Like, our styles might look different, but I think I think we both we kind of just race similar that way. We can, I feel like it's like we trust each other. We trust our lines. You're not, really thinking twice about where either of us are going to go, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's where that mutual respect comes from. I mean, everyone's just like, you race them so long, like you kind of know what to expect from them. Like, and I will say the 250 class is way different than the 450 class. The 250 class is just absolute chaos, and you can't trust anyone.
but Kenny, that's about as close as you probably get. Like, it's probably pretty. You can trust him there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like you don't. I don't. Like, it's just, there's certain guys that you would leave the door open for, and certain guys you don't. And he's one guy. I mean, obviously, if it's coming down the last race, we're obviously going to take the line from each other. But it's not like they're going to go out of your way just to clean you out for no reason,
Yeah. Did you ever think, by the way, that passing him late in Daytona, and you only won by it was 0.7 seconds. Did you ever think, hey, it's good to get the points lead? That could potentially be the championship right there. It's the craziest thing to think of it that way.
I mean, crazy scenario that way. I wouldn't want to take it, that way at all. So we put ourselves in that situation, and that's the way it is right now.
Gotcha. And then as far as motocross is concerned, you won that title 3 years in a row. So I know Supercross is definitely that check mark that you want so bad. But is the plan to go into round one no, man, I'm full bore. We'll worry about Supercross when we get there. Or is there a part of you that's like, oh, I don't know how to play this? Or do you approach motocross just like you would if we go racing, like you would any other year?
At this point, I don't know what's going to happen. No one does. So
yeah,
I have to go into it just like I'm not going to hold anything back. I'll tell you that. Right. For sure. I'm not thinking about the Supercross when we line up at, the WW Ranch.
Right. The goal is to win 4 straight. That's the goal.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yep.
Okay. Well, this could be the gnarliest season anyone's ever put in. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we even get races in. And if you get titles and you have a baby in the same year and we all survive coronavirus, that's it. I don't think there's a trophy big enough for all those things.
I know.
Yeah, and you figured out how to use Instagram Live, so even more.
Yeah, look, we learned something.
There you go. All right, well, thanks for the time, and Normally, I would really feel bad for taking your time, but I don't know. Maybe you need someone to talk to. Maybe you're just bored right now.
There's always something to do. I think everyone wants everything to get back to normal. You know, you don't realize how good you have it until it's not normal.
100%. Anyone I've talked to, my job, your job, anybody, when we're back in a race, we will never be happier than when we're finally just back in a race. That's all we want. Just be back in the races.
Yeah, it's like, who cares about complaining weekend to weekend? Like, let's just go race.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for the time. This has been awesome. I think the fans really appreciate it, too.